Hey everyone, so this will just be a comparison here between the physical parts and then the user interfaces here on the Fitbit Charge 5, which is the newest version of the Charge, versus the Fitbit Sense 2, which it just came out not too long ago. So both these are with the always on display. They are both turned on. What that means is you'll see like now it's like that. And then you have your main display there as well. With that always on display turned off, all it means is when it turns, like instead of being like this, it'll turn black, just off. The screen will just turn off. Just be a black screen, blank screen. Alright, so we'll get on into this, and the same thing with the Charge 5 here. It just kind of dims itself way down. Alright, so first off, let's look at the physical parts here. Without the bands on, you can see, of course, the Sense 2 is more like a normal looking watch, where this looks like an activity tracker. Basically, that is what they are. The one thing too I want to note here is you can only have one of these on your account at a time. Super weird thing Fitbit has done for a long time, and they've yet to change. So if you had the Charge 5 and you want to upgrade to the Sense 2, but you still want to keep your Charge 5, you can only have one hooked up to your account at a time. It's really weird. So you hook up the new Sense 2, it actually deletes from your account the Charge 5. Super weird thing. It's like Fitbit only wants you to have one of their watches at a time. It's just a very weird thing. Again, always on display is turned on in these, so they will not turn off in this video. Again, looking at the physical parts, the Sense 2 has a physical button here, which does different things. The Charge 5 does not. It doesn't have really actually any button at all. It does have these side things here, but that is for the different apps on here. There's no actual buttons. Instead, it is all just touchscreen. Of course, this is also touchscreen. That is really all there is to that. For far as back goes here, these actually do have a lot of the same sensors, but the Sense 2 has these I'm just going to call them metal bits here. That is for the all-day stress tracking. The Charge 5 does not have that. And then you have the charger bits right here, and then these 4 dots right there is for the charger bits. Then for their bands, they are of course 2 different types of bands. You see here. So the Charge has this bit right here that actually connects into the Charge, where this is just all one long piece. So they will not, you cannot interchange them at all. And all they do is they snap in. They're nice and easy. It literally just snaps in. Then you have a back button on both of them right there. Snaps on out. One thing I've noticed with is I use Amazon's third-party bands a lot, is for the Charge 5, you gotta be careful with them. Not the Fitbit branded ones, but the Amazon ones you buy off of Amazon third-party ones, they do seem to come loose quite a bit easy at times. Again, same thing with this, or very similar. You just connect it on in, snaps in. Again, a little bit of a button, you just press that, actually press it towards the band, use your fingernail, and it clicks on out. These are probably like some of the easiest bands out there for these watches. And then make sure it is snug, same with the Charge. Alright, looking at these user interfaces here. So on both these, you swipe to either side, you'll get through your different apps here. So what I have mine set up for right now is notifications, your exercises, alarm, timer, EDA, which is your stress tracking. Again, this can do all day stress tracking. This, you have to do this and sit here for 3 minutes for it to track your stress. ECG, which this also has. And then back to your start. Then at any point on here, if you double tap correctly, it brings you back home. Again, do it correctly there, brings you back home. On the Sense 2, again, swiping either way brings you to your different apps. So we have our today's activity. We'll come back to that in a second here. Your heart rate, Again, you can change what apps you have showing up here. These are ones I have. Your sleep, your body response, again, which is the all-day stress tracking, your timer, weather, exercises. Let's talk about exercises real fast here. There's a big difference between these. That is, this gives you a crazy amount of different exercises right from the watch. You guys can see all those. Crazy amount. Hit it, go back to the top if you want, or you can hit this back button, or the button, excuse me, and it'll go back. On the little charge here, it's really weird not having bands on these. It just feels kind of wrong. We go to your exercises, and you can only hold a certain amount of them. It is, I think it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all you can hold. You gotta change them out on the app itself on your phone. Alright, still looking at the charge. We swipe down, you get into a few different things. So you have your Fitbit Pay, do not disturb mode, which basically means you're not, if you wanted it to be nice and quiet and you only wanted it for time, for the most part, it will not tell you when you get notifications or things like that. Sleep mode, basically the same thing as do not disturb, but it's for when you go to bed. You do not need to turn that on for it to track your sleep. It will still track your sleep. Screen wake, turn on auto or manual. Find your phone, water lock, so if you go swimming or in the shower or whatever, turn that on. And you have your actual settings here. So you have your display, which is where you turn it on, you're always on display. Quiet modes, again, heart rate turned on or off. Of course, turning that on, which most people are going to do, will of course drain some of your battery more than having it off. Notifications, your vibration intensity, your GPS on or off, and then your device information, then to restart it. Swiping that will bring you back to where you just were. Whereas on the sense, swiping down gives you do not disturb, or the sense 2. Your night mode, your settings, which again, display, vibration, and audio. This also does have audio. You can talk into it. Notifications, go reminders, quiet mode, shortcuts, which is for the button there. And then about the device, shutting it down as well. Always on displays right here. Your screen, how your screen turns on by button or by raising it. And then your brightness. And also your battery percentage. Back to the charge, swiping up gives you, hopefully you guys can see it, does give you the battery percentage. Mine is in need of a charge here. It gives you different stats for the day, so your steps, your distance you've walked, your activity, active zone minutes, I believe they call that, and then your calories burned, hourly activity, your heart rate, sleep if you slept with it the night before, SPO 2%. And then tapping on these does not actually do anything. You need to look into your app for more information on these guys. It also gives you your resting heart rate, which is really cool. Back to the sense here. Doing that brings you actually to your notifications. To see what the charge had, you'll go over here to your today's activities, tap on one of them. So you have your steps. Let's get this focusing a bit better. Steps, how much you have left to for each of these. Your distance, your floors, your calories burned, active zone minutes, your heart rate, your resting heart rate, your readiness, which goes along, it uses some of the sensors on here. It goes along with a whole bunch of different sensors and trackers, but I believe you have to have premium for this to work correctly or to see the full picture of it, and you have to be wearing it for a whole bunch of days in succession for it to actually work. Pick that up. Exercise, how many days of the week they want you to do it for 5 days. Hourly activity, again, your sleep, your stress management, which again goes along with these bars here. Then your mindfulness, and then you can take away stuff, or you can add in stuff. Take away things by swiping like that, but all the way over. And then you can open this up in your app as well on your phone. One thing I do not really care for on the Sense 2, it's the same way on the Charge 5, but this is a bit more of a, I can understand it better on here because this is not a actual smartwatch, it's more of a smart activity tracker. But on this guy, it used to be with the Sense 1 and the Versa 3, which is this predecessor to this guy. You'd hit any of these and it would open up into more detail. So for instance, here, Flight to Sleep, it tells you how long and your score. On the Versa 3/Sense 1, you tap that and it would bring you into the Sleep app on the watch itself, and it would tell you your awake time, your REM sleep, your light sleep, your deep sleep, along with what this tells you. And it goes for all this stuff. It would give you a lot more data for every single one of these. They took that away on here. If there's a setting for that, I could not find it. Y'all let me know if there is one. I could not find it. And that really is the user interface differences here. One more thing I do want to mention is with the Sense, it is actually, or Sense 2, it's actually kind of slow. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but it's kind of slow even compared to the Charge 5. Like the Charge 5 is nice and fluid and quick. The Sense, for some reason, is actually a little bit slower. You can kind of see there's just a little bit of a slowdown with it, especially when you go into bigger menus. Especially if you compare this, like I made a video on this, to this versus the Versa 3. Like the Versa 3 is a lot more, again, fluid, a lot more smooth than the Sense 2 is. Then another weird thing about this, with the always on display turned on or off, it is, again, along with the slowness, is that, so like now let's say 10:31. If I don't look at the time for say 5 minutes or an hour or whatever, don't look at it for however long, and then you do a quick look at it, it will still tell you what time it was the last time you looked at it. So like now it's 10:31. Say I don't look at it for an hour from now. It'll still say 10:31 for a second or two before it tells you the correct time, which is really off-putting if you don't look at it for a while and you do a quick look. Oh, look, it's 10:32. When you look away, it could actually be 10:50. It could actually be 12 o'clock. But it takes a second or two to catch up to the actual time. And what's even weirder with this is with the always on display turned on, when it's like this, where it's in the, the off screen, quote unquote off screen, it'll tell you the correct time. You'll look at the main screen, it'll tell you the incorrect time, again, for a second or two before it catches up with itself. Again, the Versa 3 does not do that. The Charge 5 does not do that. It's just a very weird thing. And it's kind of disappointing. You all let me know what you think. That is really the differences and a bit of a comparison here between the user interfaces. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Hope you all have a good one. See you next time. Goodbye.